appreciative of all your many blessings, big and small. I want to lift up any prayer requests of those that are here or listening. That they will be presented and answered according to your will. Also, I pray for safety, travel, and mercy for this coming months. Things coming up and going on, like the fairs, the festivals, VBS, vacations, swimming, and the extreme heat coming up. I want to lift up this meeting tonight, pray that it is wise-minded, smooth, quick, peaceful, and united as we move forward with the business for Team Amelia. Thank you for allowing us to represent and part of this wonderful team that consists of staff, volunteers, and citizens, and so on. Help us to be able to soon fill the voids on our team and make it that much stronger. Lord, just thank you for the good solid budget that will be finalizing tonight, and any other business that will be handled. Lord, to be with all those that were in the many wrecks today, especially one of our that was in that track accident. And Lord, just thank you that it wasn't as bad as it could have been. Lord, thank you for all of our attendants. I lift up them and their families up, and I pray for safe travel mercies home tonight. It's thank you, Lord, precious name.
Thank you, Mr. Morris. All right, gentlemen. Are there any amendments to the agenda? I have two. Well, one will be no closed session, and the 5K special event permit has been removed till next month. Actually, that's in the consent agenda, but yes. So I entertain a motion to approve the agenda as amended.
So moved.
Motion on the floor to approve the agenda with the two items removed. Any more discussion? All in favor, raise your hand. Motion carries. Thank you, gentlemen. That brings it to the consent agenda. What's the board's pleasure? Everybody have all the information they needed? I entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda. Motion on the floor to approve the consent agenda. Any more discussion? All in favor, raise your hand. Motion carries. Gentlemen? All right, that brings us to our public comment time. Anybody wishing to speak about anything that's not on the agenda? There are a couple of public hearings coming up later on. If your comments are directed to that, you'll have ample time then also. So, but I'll open public comment time. Please come up, state your name and address. Try to keep it to 3 minutes.
Good afternoon. My name is James Hagan. I live at 17840 Namazine Road, Meade Courthouse. Reason why I'm here this evening is, if I could ask y'all a question, could anybody tell me the noise ordinance for Amelia County?
I can't quote it. I know there's one.
Okay,
The county code, which is online.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's available online.
okay, I understand. I was just asking to see if anybody knows. For the last 8 years, I've been told that the timeline was 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. for noise ordinance. That goes true for just about everything except for 96-3H, which is subtitle 1 and 2. And they call out ATVs, four-wheelers, motorcycles, and car stereos, anything of substance. And that's given a footage of a certain feet. This was brought to my attention. This was noted in 2011 is when this was revised. 14 years, with technology updating, your side-by-sides has got factory radios, motorcycles got factory radios. Your cars nowadays has got amplified stereos, high-end stereos. I'm pretty sure y'all understand that. What I'm asking is, I'm not asking for this law to be taken off the books, but it would be nice if it was under the context of the same time period as all the other noise prohibited laws. These are the only two. And for say, if I'm spray my yard down my property line with my ATV or side by side, I get out, my radio's playing. Any such fourth neighbor or anyone hears my radio and has a complaint, they call and you get in trouble for it. My wife's brand new vehicle comes with high-end radio. You get out of the vehicle, you're in your driveway, you're washing your car, over 100 feet, the neighbor calls, you get in trouble for it. Everything else is from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. All I'm asking is if these two that are for, motorcycles, ATVs, anything like that, and or operating sound amplified equipment in a vehicle is up to over 100 feet. Everything today is, my shop is 50-foot long that I built. I turn the radio on in my shop. I step outside my shop. I can hear my radio. The neighbor hears my radio and doesn't like it. They call and they come to me and I get fined for it. All I'm asking is if this could be just upgraded, taken a look into, being there's been such a period of time, could it be just put under the same as the 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. law? If that could be looked into.
Okay, I didn't know, I'm unfamiliar, it was separated with ATVs or I just thought it was straight noise. Do you mind giving your information and telephone number to the staff?
Yes,
Or
sir.
write it down on a piece of paper and lay it at the end of the table? And we'll look into it and see exactly, have you gotten a fine? I mean, have
Yes,
you-
I've lived at this residence for 8 years and my sons has had go-karts and motorcycles and, they ride on the property that we live in the country. Every time my children go out to ride on their four-wheelers or motorcycles, I've had the law at my house. And this is in the middle of the day. This is not at no 6 a.m. This is anywhere between 12 o'clock to 5 o'clock in the evening when they got home from school.
Good gracious.
We sold a motorcycle, sold a four-wheeler, sold a go-karts. I built a $35,000 shop just to be out of sight, out of mind. Now I had them call holiday weekend because we was out in the yard, in the garage, playing the radio. Law comes up, says that the neighbors is complaining that they can hear the radio. We've got several neighbors around that call or that play the music. It doesn't bother me. I live in the country. That's where I moved from the city to the country. Enjoy life. I don't want to have to sell my home and my shop because I have people that want to call the law because I want to listen to my radio or, my air compressor runs in the shop. If it's heard too loud, the neighbors don't like it. They call the law.
You quote that section back? I'm in there and I'm not seeing the ATV exclusion the same way that you are. I just-
96-3
Uh-huh.
H under vehicles,
Mm-hmm.
subtext 1 and 2. 1 is operating or using a motor vehicle or motorcycle in such a manner that creates a mechanical or exhaust noise that is plainly audible at a distance of 200 feet or more from the vehicle. Subsection 2 is operating sound amplifying equipment in a manner in a motor vehicle at a volume sufficient to be plentifully audible at a operating distance of 100 feet from the vehicle.
Thank you. I'm sorry. I saw those. I was looking for the word ATV. I apologize. I got that. Yeah, thank you.
How far is your neighbor's house from your property line?
My
Estimate.
one neighbor from my property line is 25 feet. They have no complaint. I've had no complaints out of them. My other neighbor is roughly maybe 200 feet, 150 feet. Every time we step out of the house, they call law.
Get your information to the county administrator and,
Okay.
and we'll look into it and see. Let's see. Just get all the information. That's all I can tell you right now. We'll just see
Understand.
what's going on. I didn't know ATVs were included.
Well, the last 8 years, every time the officers come, I constantly ask them, what is my time limit so I can be legal? 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. The last sheriff that come to my house, not a deputy, actual sheriff, said that he did not know. He had to have the county clerk or the judge look it up. And he brought me this paper to show me because he did not know. That's the reason why I asked the question to see if any of y'all know that under the subtext that nobody, it's a time limit, but this is done by footage, 1 foot or 100 feet or 200 feet. That's not very far. I can speak and you can hear me at 100 feet. If you have a neighbor that doesn't particularly care to like you or anyone else, if you're in your yard, Are they gonna call the law every time you step out, to have a discussion? Every time you step out to, turn a power washer on, a generator, that's what I'm trying to get.
Okay.
Why are these two subtitled as not under the time frame and they're totally by themselves under footage?
Okay.
I'd be glad to take your information, Paul, with you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, you want it now or after the meeting?
Either one.
Drop it off when you're
Yeah.
done.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Thank you.
I think the power washer and stuff is very different than the issue with the ATV. That's hold on differently, but yeah, we haven't looked at this ordinance the whole time I've been, I mean, I've belonged, we haven't looked at this one in a long time. It certainly wouldn't hurt to,
This is 2011.
yeah, it certainly wouldn't hurt to go back through it in general too.
I was just under the impression it was a time.
That's what I always thought it was.
So vehicles, so the history of the areas, and it's not limited to vehicles on private property. So it had to do with loud stereos on in public spaces as well. So
Yeah,
not timely.
yeah.
But if it's not excessive faults.
Let's get some information. We'll get staff.
Yeah.
So maybe,
We can
Might
take a
be
look
some
at
ways
it.
to clarify concepts to this too. I see a couple of things that are a little, hindsight's always easier, yeah.
we'll revisit that.
Yeah.
All right. Anybody else? That person can just come in and just shoot. Okay. All right, moving right along. VDOT? Somebody here from VDOT? Oh,
Yes.
how you doing, sir?
Gentlemen, how are y'all? I'm Adam Brooks, Assistant Residency Administrator, VDOT's Chesterfield Residency, on behalf of Rebecca Worley. Going through our monthly report that we have. I'll just go through it, and if you have any questions, feel free to stop me, speak up, ask whatever questions you have. Our secondary mowing, my first point, secondary mowing, that has been completed. We will have additional cycles, add that through the year, but our first cycle's been completed. Buckskin Creek patching, that's been completed. The next step for that will be surface treatment. We don't own the contract that does the surface treatment, the residency doesn't, but, that's likely the best schedule at this point, likely August, late July, August for surface treatment for that. First round of primary mowing was also completed, 12th of this month. We've been working on Stony Point Road. We have regraded that, completed dragging that with the motor grader this week. And that is scheduled to be resurfaced in that same contract, late July into August. The Bunker Hill Road, that section has been, again, drug with the motor grader, regraded. That work's been completed. We had 2 pipe replacements, one on Green Street and one on Drunkard Road. Those have also been completed. Any questions on those before I move into land use?
I got one, but I'll wait till you go. Keep on.
Okay. Was nothing to report for land use. Traffic studies and special requests. We have Rebecca, I know, has received several requests to look at the intersection of Dennisville and Five Forks. Apparently people running that stop sign. So we are looking at that, evaluating what additionally we can do there. There is the sidewalk project that the stop signs will be upgraded and oversized with that project. But we're looking at additional things we might do, perhaps making the post reflective, which is a mitigation that we are beginning to do now. So we are evaluating that, and once we've with traffic operations, once we have come to some conclusion or resolution, Rebecca will be in touch. Construction, ST4C, the surface treatment contract. Patching is going to begin in various locations, several that were mentioned in the bullet under maintenance. That should begin late July, early August. And then the Phase 1 Amelia Sidewalk Project, the one that I mentioned earlier, UPC 121962, that one did receive bids. It received 3 bids, and at least the low bid was within the range of awardable. So that is probably somewhere in the process of being recommended for award at this point. Couple additional notes that I made. Patching at the Dennisville and Five Forks intersection. We are going to patch that ahead of the work that will be done on the sidewalk project. Colony will be doing that work, and that's going to begin this Friday, the 20th, and then it should complete on Monday, the 23rd. Will just be a flagging operation during the day. And then the last point that I had this Friday as well, the area will be mowing Goods Bridge, 360 Business, in anticipation of a fair that's going on this weekend. So that will be mowed on Friday.
All right.
That's all the notes that I made. I heard there was a question.
Yeah, we don't hear this very often. I actually got a compliment on the work y'all doing on Buckskin Creek.
Okay.
We get complaints all the time, but this,
We do as well.
I told this gentleman, I said, are you sure you're telling me something good? Yeah, he was very happy with the work being done.
Okay. Good to hear.
I had something.
Yes, sir.
Where was Colony going to start doing their work? What road?
The intersection of Five Forks and Dennisville, right there at the schools,
And what day?
the 20th, this Friday.
Where it starts? Right there.
Starts tomorrow, but
Yeah.
There starts.
Is it in that location?
Yes,
Okay.
yes,
So we'll definitely pull them off of that then.
yes, okay, but I had something else.
starts
Okay.
tomorrow night.
That's what I thought.
Yeah,
it
you're
did, and that's why I wanted to double check before I wanted to bother on that. I said, starting, that's
Yeah.
not good. I don't know what can be done. But we are having too many tractor and trailer accidents on Route 609. I mean, constantly, there's a tractor and trailer turned over on that road. It's not a log truck, it's mostly trash trucks. I don't know what we can do to make this a safer road for the people, because the trash trucks are coming from Northern Virginia, Northwest Virginia, whatever, they're not local trucks. Log trucks, some more, some more. Well, I mean, once a month or once every other month, Earl Hill Church Road shut down. There's a tractor and trailer turned over. There's a tractor and trailer.
Okay.
And I don't know if we can, I mean, personally, I don't know what to do to alleviate the problem. If we got to, the trucks use on that road or what? So see, using that road is a shortcut coming out of Northern Virginia, because they're coming down 64, they get 542, and it's straight to the dump here in the middle.
What truck speed limit?
Yeah, for trucks. Something's gotta be done, because it's just getting too numerous of tractor trailers.
There's a handful of tools, I guess, that we have in the toolbox. So we'll take a look at that. I'm making a note now, take a look at that. And like I said, there's everything from in the road mitigations to speed enforcement that we can do. That, the goal would be to mitigate those. So I'll take a look and we can get back.
We've been lucky that I don't think there's been any fatalities, but sooner or later.
Okay.
You see them on that bridge again. If I can get some.
Yes, sir.
We had the same issue on Butler's Road. Rebecca worked on, I knew Thuriel I've not worked with Rebecca and with
Okay.
others. And she did the posting of the truck speed limits, which has been helpful because then that enabled the sheriff's office to do more enforcement as well.
Okay.
I think at that time she told me all of the secondary roads are technically 45 for the truck.
By statute, yeah.
By
for trucks,
statute, right,
45,
but
yeah.
they don't pay attention to it until they see the signs
Correct.
saying it. And so just signing it helps a lot.
Right.
Because it's, a minimum starting point, I think.
Yeah, and we don't do that a lot, but we do that some post the statutory limit, which is 45 for trucks. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Did we do, you probably know, but did we stop truck traffic on Butler?
Yeah, we did a study to try that and it didn't meet the criteria to
Okay.
eliminate traffic, so we went with this.
That was a while back.
Truck traffic on Butler,
It's farm trucks.
that, and because they can't get out on 360 and 153 because of the traffic.
Well, none of those were reasons for not meeting the criteria, but it didn't meet the criteria. So
Okay. All right. Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Dr. Hawker. Mr. Trump.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the board, and Mr. Pollitt. As the school closed for the year, we've started our end-of-the-year reports that will continue through the month of August. We've also begun preliminary preparations for the 25-26 school year. Our summer support program started June 3rd and runs through July 10th. June is the month when handbook updates and federal program applications are approved. It's also a month for policy updates based on actions from the General Assembly, many of which become effective July 1st. Next week, we will bid farewell to Dr. Cindy Reesner, who has been appointed to be the superintendent in Buckingham County, and Dr. Heather Gentry Alt, who has been appointed to be the superintendent in Buena Vista City. The new Director of Human Resources and Administration will be Dr. Frank Wheeler, coming to us from New Kent. And the new Director of Instruction will be Dr. Courtney Browning, coming to us from Buckingham. We welcome these new directors on July 1st. In your packet, you have the May financial reports. Mr. Trump is here to share the financial information and appropriation requests.
Good evening. Today I'm sharing with you the May FY25 finance reports. To be meeting our goals, operating revenues and expenditures should be about 85%. We're below that number and just about 78.6%. The considerable gap in expenditures to date, it'll be closing in the coming weeks, however, as some of the significant encumbrances that we have become actual expenses as projects are completed and final invoices are paid. Such projects include remaining work being completed on our state security grant projects. As you know, that was a considerable sum with the increase that we appropriated during the school year. The delivery of a school bus that was just completed this last week, and completion of flooring installation in all 3 schools' libraries. In the textbook fund, expenditures remain at 4.07% as they have for most of the year. However, there are considerable encumbrances there as well, following several of the textbook adoptions that have been approved by the school board this spring. Some of these encumbrances will be moved forward into FY26, and it is possible that some may be received and paid for in June, making them this year's expenditures. Fund 4 and 5 for all in construction are at 65.11% and 2.35% respectively. And the cafeteria fund stands at 58.15% of its budgeted expenditures. That's the basic finance reports. If there are any questions about this, I'm happy to take them now and or I can move into appropriation.
I'm appropriation.
For your approval this evening is a request for the appropriation of $7,500 in state revenues and expenditures. These funds have been received by ACPS following the award of an incentive program award to one of our teachers through the state's new hometown teacher program. This program provides grants to low-income high school graduates who attend an institution of higher education in the Commonwealth and subsequently now teach in a high-need public school in the school division in which they graduated from high school. This is the first of 4 such years of which this award will be available for a selected teacher. So this may become a recurring and very happy appropriation at this time of year. There is no local match. State that clearly. That's all.
Is that the only one?
Yes, that's it.
Okay. I got like 3 pages, got the same number on it.
Yeah. I attached the grant award information from the state as well as backup.
Okay.
Just got all paid.
It really is just, this is just a pass through of a state award, and we're happy that one of our teachers was awarded to it. I think they said they set a goal of having at least one teacher in every region. And then they look at that, so it was pretty good.
Has that teacher been named yet?
Yes, it's actually in the packet.
Yeah, she said it's listed on page.
What's the board's pleasure?
Make a motion that we approve the request. For $7,500.
Okay, motion on the floor to approve the appropriation to the school for $7,500. Grant. Any more discussion? All in favor, raise your hand. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, I'll say it just speaks very highly that two of your employees have been selected as superintendents of other divisions. I know it's a big loss for you, but speaks very highly of these schools.
All right. Good evening, Ms. Pond.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the board, and Mr. Pollard. How are you all?
We're good. We'll get you a little more volume, just 1 second.
Sure.
All right. Try it again.
You good? Are you good? Can you hear me? Yes.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Very good. I'm gonna go ahead and share my PowerPoint. Give me a second. Can you see my screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Very good. I have with me the financial for the month of May. It shall be quick. It's all good. We are almost done with the year, but not quite yet. We still have 2 weeks to go. The first slide here is on revenue. The county thus far collected close to 29 million. Can I bring your attention to line 10, total revenue? The middle section where I boxed in red. So far, if you swing to your right, we were about 3.9 million relative to our 25 budget. So we did quite well, but not done with the year yet. So 2/3 of that came from taxes. So we still have collections to do until year end. So the revenues will get better. Any questions for me there?
No, ma'am.
Very good. Now expenditures. Parallel to the increase on revenue, we also have about 18.9% increase in our 25 year-to-date actual expenditures. It's still about 2 million below the budgeted 25 number. So it's all good. So the county, as of today, the end of May, we stand at a net revenue of about 5 million, slightly over by about 5.1 million. So it's pretty good. Overall, across all funds, also it's about 5 million surplus so far. Any questions for me?
No, ma'am.
Very good. If you don't have any questions, that's all I have.
I have one.
Yes, ma'am.
Going back to the revenue, why was the state and federal down from previous year? I mean, it shows 17.63 for state and 4.57 federal revenue. It was down that much from 24 to 25.
Because we're not done with the accrual yet. Remember, we are lagging by a few months. We have 60-day accrual period. We are still, as we speak, we are still recording revenues that they come in.
Okay, they lag. Okay, just want to.
Problem. Thank you for the question. That's a good one. Thank you.
Thank
Any
you.
more
Thank you.
questions? You're welcome.
I think we're good. Thank you, Paul, for your work.
Thank you. Have a good evening.
Better news all the time. All right, we got our appropriation request from Animal Control.
I can speak to that. So it's
Yes, sir.
The request is about $22,000. It's related to two cases and mainly related to veterinary bills and taking care of the animals that we postpone until we find a more permanent location for them. And we're required to make these veterinary expenses to keep the animals healthy during our care. And we've got $20,000 roughly for restitution from the case coming in.
Okay.
That's mostly snake deal.
Yes, sir. It's my understanding from talking with the animal control.
Good time to take.
So how much of this is it's extra spending? Sorry.
Yeah.
22.
You said 22 was coming back again from the restitution.
Supposedly. Back to restitution.
Yeah, that's correct. Roughly 20,000.
All right, so we
Restitution.
should, in theory, we should only be
$3,000.
about 3,000.
If you don't-
I agree. I've emphasized the word theory very much. Yes, absolutely. Okay, thank you.
What's the board's pleasure?
Make a motion that we, give the, animal control what they asked for, the $22,748.43.
79 cents.
I got 43.
Well, it is actually, he has a good point. There's the request amount says 79, but
Yeah, this sheet says or less.
there's two different amounts.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is the online version. There's two amounts. They're not the same. You're looking at the 43 is the total for the case. You're looking at the 43. I see it. 43 is the total for the case. For one, the value.
Yeah, there's two.
Yeah, you gotta look at the total. You gotta look at the total overall. Is the 22.
Yeah, the request number is the total amount requested.
Yep, I didn't. This isn't the official motion. It's 79.
Yeah, there's a
All right.
motion in the packet. Yeah, but the total, it's the correct amount.
Mr. Jones, will you amend your motion to the amount of $22,748.79?
I amend my previous motion of $22,748.43 and change it to $22,748.79.
All right. Any more discussion, gentlemen? All in favor of making the appropriation to raise your hand, to animal control? Motion carries. All right, moving right along. All right, it brings us to a special exception permit for a second dwelling unit. We had the public hearing last month. We decided to table it. There was a couple of questions asked. Okay, questions were answered. Austin, do you want to speak to this?
Yeah,
Yeah, I can answer any questions that you had.
I think it was one question was something be rebuilt? We did look into it.
Yes, the answer to that was, with no condition, anything could be rebuilt, in place of a single lot, another manufactured home or a stick built home.
Okay,
To be rebuilt.
so we did follow up.
Yes.
Okay. What's the board's pleasure?
Sorry, that's all. And you've talked to the applicants with that information, and or have you followed up with them, or just?
Yeah, I followed up with the, family of the applicants. They're aware of it.
I assume that's what you meant. Is to be clear. Thank you very much. Sorry.
Staff has prepared several options for us. What's the board's pleasure? Got all of our questions answered last month, and we heard it.
Well, I'd make a motion to approve it, but y'all can shoot it down.
We can go through the process.
So
Motion drafted by staff in your packet on page 4 of citizen. So,
Are you making a motion?
I don't see the need to, because there's not the votes here to support it.
Well. We gotta have a motion to move forward, so it's.
I'll make a motion. I'll make a motion to deny the special exception request to allow detached dwelling unit use to be conducted on property based on location being inappropriate in conflict with the comprehensive plan and the statement of intent for the district in which it is located. Public health, safety, and general welfare will be adversely affected. The necessary safeguards are not provided for the protection of the surrounding property, persons, neighborhood values. Such concerns unable to be addressed through reasonable conditions.
Thank you, Mr. Answer. Motion on the floor. Basically for denial. I will read that whole thing. That will be in the minutes. Any more discussion? All in favor of the motion, raise your hand. Motion carries. Any opposition? All right. Moving right along. All right. Okay, we have a couple hearings coming up. One is for land use and zoning fees change. You had it in your packets. The board have any questions? Also a resolution that tells you the fee changes.
We need to open the public hearing, right?
Just confirm, as you said, it has been advertised. It has been advertised.
Yes. Any questions? You want the ball? It's fine. We lacked a little bit, I lacked a little bit last, so we all learned. All right, I'm gonna open the public hearing, folks.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna open the public hearing at this time for the FY 26 land use and zoning fees increase. They have been properly advertised. Anybody wishing to speak for or against, please come up, state your name and address. All right, I'll close the public hearing. Hey, Mr. Morrison.
thank you. It's your turn to adopt the ordinance as presented.
Okay. With the fee increases and the land use fee increases and the zoning fees. Any more discussion? All in favor, raise your hand.
Do we have an idea how much more revenue this increase would be if it was based on previous years?
Not much.
It's not much of it.
We don't have that much activity in either one of them. A couple of them are brand new categories.
yeah.
We've never had them before. He just picked them up because of the locality itself.
A lot on board. It's to help pay the department. Make
Yeah, we're all in. They do it. Still gotta pay people to do it.
self-sustaining.
Yeah.
But not, minimal from a.
All right. Next item is utility fees. For the FY 26 budget. They've been properly advertised. Rates are in your packets. Anybody have any questions for opening public hearing? Good. All right, I'm gonna open the public hearing this time for the change in utility fees for the FY 26 budget. Anybody wishing to speak for or against it? Please come up. Hearing none, I'll close the public hearing. Go ahead, Mr. Morris.
To adopt the ordinance, and things for utility fee increases.
Any more discussion?
Yeah. Uh, Does this put us in line with the, neighbor counties or?
No, these fees were increased based on previous workshop discussions in the budget process where these were higher approximately 15 years ago. And you know, request to go back up to these levels. I'm not sure what these are compared to our neighbors, but this is what got requested.
Okay.
This is a hard, we've talked to Daryl and others on this too. This is a really hard category to do like equal to others because the services are not necessarily equal. It's driven on. If you, a lot of them, I mean, if we were to compare to some of them, they're getting really high demand for growth. This would not be, if we kept up with their same ones, we could drive our growth down, actually hurt us more than that. This is a tough one to stay equal. What we're trying to do, I only speak of this because you know they're all from the district, so most of our residents. We're trying to keep it growing at a consistent pace so that there's no additional burden put on the rest of the citizens throughout the county. That we keep it stable, and so just keep growing at the same pace as the costs grow for the most part. And for that's for the monthly fees. For the hookups, that kind of thing, we are trying to slowly come back to the pre-COVID amounts for that as well, which we think are sustainable over time. Again, we're careful not to limit growth, which will have a negative effect for us too. So I think that's very reasonable.
Was that changed before we got here? I don't remember us ever. There's not much to change.
I believe these rates reflect what was done 15, 20 years ago, maybe. Yeah.
There were changes in 20 and 21. Makes sense, just looking at the document that was put in the code.
Yeah.
So I don't know the specific reductions at that point, but it looks like there were changes those 2 years.
Okay.
I think my main reason is I know some builders and plumbers and et cetera, and the first thing I want to hear, we're trying to gouge. But we're not, I mean, you're trying to get back to where we was.
Right.
Yeah. What the permit fees changed.
All right, hang on before we go. Building fees. Can we vote on that?
No.
Yeah. I'm showing the floor to accept the.
No, I can do this public hearing be over. Close it.
I thought you
Yeah,
voted.
this was just discussion.
Okay.
Understand.
All right, somebody give me a motion on the utility fees.
If you made it.
I bet you make that. You definitely made a motion on this one. Yeah.
It's,
You made a motion.
you did.
Yeah, you did. All right, the motion. I think that's for the city. Why not on that?
Utility.
All we have to do is move.
All in favor of the utilities fee increases, break it in. All right. And that brings us to the building fees. Also, have been advertised. Can I open the public hearing?
These do not require a public hearing.
Thank you.
This is just a resolution that we scheduled.
Everyone, Ms. Robinson.
I move to adopt the resolution as presented.
Fees. Looking for floor to adopt the resolution for the building fees. Any more discussion? All in favor, raise your hand. Motion carries. All right. All right, gentlemen. I will move this one. I thought we were adopting the budget last month when we voted. I was confused on the amendment. So now it's going to be the official adoption of the budget. I'll entertain a motion. That the one amendment to lower the personal property tax by 10 cents. What's the board pleasure?
I'll make a motion that we lower property tax.
All right, Johnny.
Yeah.
Oh, we also need to adopt the budget.
It's all written in
Okay,
there
okay,
already.
okay. So. Glad I got the name in here.
All right, make a motion.
Make a motion to be adopted.
Motion on the floor to adopt the budget.
F, 26
FY.
budget.
Okay. All right, then on motion on the floor, discussion.
I want to say something real quick.
Okay.
I just want to clarify, because I had gotten told I was not against getting back. I was just afraid of jumping because I people still people settling in, but not like hesitation.
Okay.
About the same. I've gotten thrilled with the amount of positive comments. I've gotten people calling, constantly thanking Benji and I about being forward looking and out for where we need to go in the future. And still very happy with where we took a stand on that. So
All right. Any more discussion?
I didn't get no calls.
I got good call.
Yeah, I got good calls. I didn't get chewed out.
All right. Next one.
I got.
All right, the motion on the floor to approve the FY 26 budget resolution. Any more discussion? All in favor, raise your hand. Motion carries. Thank you, gentlemen. At the VDOT 6-year resolution plan, we discussed this during budget time. My understanding that we were gonna wait until we, some more funds in that fund to do it. Simply, we were looking at optimal measures. What's the board's pleasure? We already had the public hearing.
you don't have to have a public hearing for when there's no change. Yeah. So I'll make a motion to adopt the secondary 6-year plan as presented.
Looking forward to adopt the 6-year plan. Any more discussion? All in favor, raise your hand. Okay, gentlemen. All right. County Administrator.
All right, thank you, Mr. Chairman. So I'm not going to go through each of these items in my report, just going to hit some highlights. Starting to assess the organization where we're at and look at some of our strengths and weaknesses, and gonna come to you guys in the near future with some recommendations for some structural changes. So want to give you a heads up on that. We're doing the tower cleaning here in town for the water tower, so there might be some disruption in service. We've notified customers already about that. Wanted to mention it tonight. I think that's going smoothly so far, so that should be taking place over the next 30, 45 days. And then we have 3 comprehensive plan community meetings scheduled in July for folks that want to attend that and give some input. That's the highlights that I have for my report, unless there's any questions.
I asked the EDA to give us an update on the Ferguson. Not Ferguson. Richardson. Seems like they're making as much headway as they can. That was a good update.
I could talk about that a little bit as well. So
Okay.
the master plan and the preliminary engineering and the site characterization study, those should all be completed by end of summer, early fall. I believe our grant timeline is end of fall this year. So that lines up with our grant timeline. And we've got a meeting later this month with VDOT to discuss the entrance going into the site and some planning grant funds for that.
Okay.
When will they be turning over the portion of the land to the county that the animal shelter is going to be on?
I thought that was already done.
It's not reflected on any of these charts or anything.
I thought it was done when we rezoned it. We can check, can we check on that?
Yeah, this is the first I've heard about it. I thought everything was already lined up. It's my understanding, talking with our public works director, that we're gonna be meeting next week, since you guys just approved the budget tonight officially, start planning on the construction of the animal shelter.
The county doesn't, you see the entire site description on here. The county doesn't own any. The EPA does. The county doesn't own any portion of that right now.
Is it supposed to be this little right here?
Yeah. We'll check on it. I thought it was done. I thought it was done when we did it.
I could look into that.
I'm aware of the deed that's been prepared, but I also don't know that legally it needs to be transferred.
Well, it concerns me because they're advertising the entire portion of land for sale.
Well, from that perspective, it needs to be secured, whatever the use is gonna be. You're right, it's not.
That's my word, because it's not clear and the entire thing is for sale. It's not that a portion is for sale.
It's for sale. Well, if it's for sale, we want to,
Oh, it's for sale.
Yeah,
It's,
then-
it's publicly advertised for sale.
then it needs to be deeded.
Sign up, right?
It's for the entire portion is for sale.
There's multiple ways to do it, deeding a parcel or retaining a rights to a parcel. I mean, I haven't been involved in that, but
Yeah, I've been on the resolution on that pretty fast.
Yeah, I thought about that. Yeah.
Can I switch to another topic for him?
Sure.
I didn't want to finish you if you were.
No, he's still, I'm done with Richard, but he's still got some. Go ahead.
He said that was it for his monthly report.
I think you got
No, that was all I wanted to talk about the monthly report. And then same with Richardson Road. I was gonna talk about the waste management meetings, but you guys had some other questions.
But yeah, two things I want to throw into your monthly report piece. So prior to you joining, we had made several requests. That's why I'm emphasizing this prior to you joining, for regular updates on the CIP projects, and we're not getting them. Can you make sure, and I think it should come through your section, but the existing CIP projects, so not just the ones that we just funded, but there's ones that have been funded for the last several years, and that we're not getting any kind of regular updates on progress, how much is spent, how much is left, et cetera, et cetera.
Sure, absolutely.
I think what we've talked about before, please, anybody correct me if I'm wrong, we've requested this so many times. I think we've said like every 2 months to get an update. Was that the last thing? It's later on.
Yeah, I thought I'd seen them in the quarterly reports, but
I take it every 3 months right now. We're not getting them on any frequency period. So
Sure, I can meet with the staff with those
pick
projects.
some frequency, stick to it, would be great. The other is, again, emphasize prior to you joining, so there's no criticism there. We switched to where the board now doesn't approve 100% of the event permits. Some are going through administratively, fine, we're all on board with that. But when we did, and Clarence was giving us FYIs about which ones the administration approved, so we didn't know. But then that somewhere in that process, I think it's just, again, you didn't get told, that got dropped. So it'd be really helpful for us, whether it's through this or some mechanism, I'm not sure what it is, for us to know what events are being approved through the administration.
Sure, yeah, that's a great idea to add a section, then I can do that.
Yeah, I would say it's similar to the way you do, like, this is what, like reimbursements you got approved. So you just,
Yeah.
FY, because I know the permit and just throw the permit in there or something. But again, if you've got a different way to do it, that'd be great.
Different than those actual ones that follow the consent agenda.
yeah, yeah.
Right, because the consent agenda ones we're approving. Yeah, consent agenda we're approving, but they're approving now ones that are
Just to highlight that, this is what we did, guys.
Under a certain.
under a,
Yeah, okay, funded.
yeah, but that's
I think it's over. I think it was 100.
I can't remember the cutoff. It doesn't matter. I'm sure it's following the rule. I don't know where, but I just don't know which ones they are. So when we see something advertised in the county, we don't know, did they not get a permit? Or did it just not come to us? We have no
Yeah.
awareness of it.
That makes sense. Give you guys a heads up on it.
Because I seen an event going on.
I see several events
Coming through.
and people ask me about events all the time and kind of to his noise ordinance thing earlier, people ask me like, oh, what's going on with this event? And it's loud and why'd y'all approve it? I'm like, I don't know anything about this event. So, yeah. All right. Thank you. Those were my two.
Absolutely. Any other questions?
I'm
All
good.
Thank you all. I'll give you just a second here. I'll skip to the waste management check. So the total check amount is $216,337.76.
All right.
Yeah, go back to Sheridan.
Good, sir.
Get Sheridan.
Well,
That's an informational
that's
thing.
just information.
Oh, the reimbursement of.
Still an appropriation request.
No, it's not a purpose. What is it?
But it's just information.
It's a reimbursement. It's a reimbursement.
It says appropriation request.
Yeah, but we don't approve the reimbursement. We don't approve those anymore.
All right. Waste management, CRC. Did y'all sit in on CRC this morning?
I was unable to attend.
All right.
Well, I was there.
You want to take care of that in your comments, Dexter?
Yeah, I take care of the comments.
All right. DMV, on stuff. Circuit Court's got a reimbursement, the same as the sheriff. They got a grant.
And keep Benji and Dexter, do you have a point in these two, the reports for these don't read clearly though, because they say Board of Supervisors. And
Yeah.
have a motion line, even though we're not,
Mhm.
we know the process now is they're just here informationally and the agenda says that, but if you just look at the document in the absence of the agenda,
Right.
it's not clear. I think the format for those.
Yeah. We could change.
I know, I think
It's appropriate to change the
just
format.
change the format for the ones that we are approving versus the ones that are just information. Yeah.
All right. What we get in that. I got some comments and activities, but we give a shout out. We all got an email this afternoon from emergency squad. They used the funds from the ambulance total to purchase Ford a new ambulance. They took delivery of today. The amount, I don't have the email from them. They got like $140 thousand from the insurance and rolled that into a $340,000. So they wanted to, they were right proud of that.
It looked good.
They did.
Look forward to.
I don't know, like that.
But I did.
We ain't gonna get into Ford stuff.
You better see the Chevrolet ambulance. First on race day. You ever seen the Chevrolet ambulance?
Moving on,
Excuse me.
moving on. Well, you got anything else when we get into the comments? Go ahead, Mr. Robinson. Tell us your comments, activities, what you done this month.
Attended the PSR meeting, the CP&T meeting, a CRC Zoom meeting, the Juneteenth festival. That one was a little hot and humid. Fair starts tomorrow night. It's gonna be hot and humid for that one. Enjoy the weather and be safe. That's about all I got.
I agree on fair. I was gonna say that'll be out tomorrow night. So most of us will for the opening. The activities start earlier than, but the opening ceremony is at 7. Don't know when, but I will be in the Dunkin' booth at some point this weekend. So come the whole weekend, and at some point you'll catch me in there. No, that's how.
Mr. Jones.
Went to the Juneteenth festival, I think that's what they call it. Very cool ceremony and, yeah, the opening ceremony, it's the Phelps and myself, and Eric.
I was still at work. I got there late.
Yeah, well, some excuses better, no excuses.
Okay.
And, let's see, what else has been going on since last week? Well, didn't make it to the PSR meeting, because I think I was on the tractor planting. But, CRC basically discussed, they're helping us on the comp plan, discussed that, and, really about all it was, talked about the assessors and different people that they will still get in touch with on that. And, we got 4th of July for the next meeting. I want everybody to be safe.
Yeah, it's a good great.
Yeah, and, have a good holiday, be safe, be with your family, and eat an extra hot dog at the cookout.
You look like me.
And Lord help you if you look like God.
They've pretty much covered everything. I was at Juneteenth as well. It was nice, but very hot. I didn't make the opener, so I was there. I also went to
See ya.
Yeah, and I also went to the fish fry down at Company 4. I think that was raising money for EMS, maybe. That was for. I thought that's what it was. Like I said, have a happy, safe 4th of July. Stay cool and hydrated. Enjoy your summer, and make sure you attend the fair and any other events coming up.
Yep. I think everything said it all. Enjoy your 4th. I do got one fair with me, gentlemen. I want to run over the list of stuff that we asked staff to look into, make sure we're all on the same music. The noise ordinance. The EDA land for the animal shelter. Regular updates on CIP. Event permits that came in. And reimbursement to departments better explained. Cover.
I think he was doing a quarterly, just the quick highlights of any major stuff that we had kind of approved, just a reminder to us.
Appropriations.
It was, whatever that list was, it was just a quick list of main stuff. I forgot, I've seen it like once or twice. Anyway, it may have went. It was something that was like a report. Before, it was just like, hey, by the way, we did this for the last quarter.
Okay.
I thought it was kind of cool.
All right. And I ain't believing this. Get a motion to adjourn. Motion to adjourn. All in favor, raise your hand. 1 hour, 5 minutes. That's what right together.
Never had one like that.
That is right. Springtime, summertime.
Yeah, thank you.